arch rivals. It was an 88-run win in Colombo. Harleen Deol, Richa Ghosh stole the show, shone with the bat, while Kranti starred with the ball. We'll be talking about India's best performance in Colombo and get you a roundup. Well, Delhi will soon try something unusual to clean its toxic winter air. Artificial rain through cloud seeding. That's correct. Cloud seeding is a weather modification technique. Silver iodide is sprayed into moisture-rich clouds to trigger rainfall. That rain can wash out dust, smog and other pollutants, essentially targeting airborne pollutants. It has been used in cities worldwide that struggle with severe winter pollution. But why is Delhi looking at this now? Because every year the pollution problem only worsens. Hazardous smog settles over the capital as stubble burning combines with local emissions. Air quality index frequently crosses danger levels, leaving the city gasping for relief. And this is, remember, year in and out, a problem that Delhiites continue to face. So what exactly is being planned? The Delhi government has approved 5 cloud seeding sorties this winter. IIT Kanpur will operate the aircraft and dispersal system over 100 square kilometers in northwest Delhi. The idea is simple: a short burst of rain could bring temporary breathing space, even if only for a few days. That's the science and the plan, but how effective can it be? Is it also going to be able to in some way tackle the long-term challenges that are thrown in with air pollutants year in and out? What should people realistically expect? We'll be breaking down that all-important story on the Breakfast Club. I'm first up being joined in the studio by my colleague Shrishti Chaudhary. Shrishti, let's begin with you. It's that time of the year again, Shrishti. We're going to have these conversations every now and then. And that's the sad part about this, isn't it? But let's try and understand, look to the positive aspect here. Something new which is going to be tried out in the national capital. First up, tell us what's the science there. IIT Kanpur is playing the biggest role in this mission to clean air in the national capital region. When are we to expect the trials? Now that, we're already seeing a lot of rain forecast by the IMD the next 2-3 days, there seems to be a little bit of a delay.
Good morning, Kritsween. Yes, so it's after a very, very long time that the national capital has finally, finally readied for the artificial rain experiment. Now see, this has been in conversation for a very, very long time because Delhi is one of the most polluted cities in the world. Every winter, especially starting from October, the first week of October, the PM 2.5 and PM 10 levels really surge to dangerous levels, making the air pollution in the city a toxic hazard. Now, like you said, this artificial rain experiment is going to be conducted by IIT Kanpur. But the latest update is because the weather conditions are not very favorable, so the experiment has so far been delayed. It was initially expected to be conducted in the initial part of this week, but now there's a very strong western disturbance, and over the next 2 days, a good amount of rain is expected over northwest India, also the parts of national capital. So the point is, if there are strong clouds, if there's a strong storm coming, that is the point when artificial rain cannot really be induced. So that only happens when the clouds are in an early stage of formation, and we have experts to probably explain that. But yes, it is a kind of a stopgap experiment for controlling the air pollution in the city. We spoke to a lot of experts, and they say that there are other factors that we really also need to work on before we, before something like this can be performed. And it's a very expensive exercise, and that is the reason we are also calling it as an experiment, because artificial rain per se has been conducted in India in various states. It has also been conducted by IIT Kanpur as an experimental basis in Bundelkhand to basically induce more rain. But to see it as a solution to control air pollution and on such a big scale, this is happening for the first time in the national capital. The entire window is starting from October 1st to November 30th. We spoke to experts at IIT Kanpur, and they told us that they still have a large window to conduct these experiments. And like you said, there are going to be 5 sorties which will be conducted most likely over northwest India, northwest Delhi.
Okay. Quickly, 2 things that we want to understand from you before we go across to our experts this morning. Shrishti, one is of course the success rate. So you spoke of how this has been replicated in some way or the other in different parts of India as well. apart from other parts of the world. So we'll talk about that, what's the success that we've seen there. And secondly, you spoke of how this is a stopgap arrangement. So this is only going to be able to bring temporary relief to the residents of the national capital. Let's say the day after Diwali, something like cloud seeding could be really beneficial. So to what extent is this going to help? For how many days will the effects last?
So artificial rain has now been kind of successfully performed in various parts of the world. Dubai is one example where they artificially induce rain, basically increase the amount of rain that falls over a certain region when the clouds initially form. But to see it as a solution to control air pollution is still on an experimental basis. The experts all over the world are divided over its impacts, whether it will be able to control the air pollution. Especially national capital Delhi is a very complex problem. For decades we have been suffering the problem of air pollution. It's not just like PM 2.5, but there's PM 10 and there are various other particulate matter. Now some of the experts I spoke to have a doubt that this more amount of moisture in the air probably could lead to more condensation and cause more particulate matter to be condensed in the air. So we don't know how much of it will work, but the Delhi government does plan to see whether it can be a solution. We have spent a large amount of money, about 3 crore in this project, which is being led by IIT Kanpur. So we'll have to really see the results. But of course, there are a lot of concerns about its solution, of it being a solution for air pollution. Apart from that, see, artificial rain, like you said, is a modification of weather, and it's a really expensive exercise. Now, the environment experts that I spoke to, they say that there are various other solutions that we should be implementing in the national capital. EVs is one. We need to control our vehicular pollution, get more public transport, encourage people to use it, but that cannot happen with a proper policy implementation. Then open waste burning, stubble burning is another problem. So there are various other problems in the city which we can probably implement with much more rigor than probably spending almost 3 crores on a project like this. But then science offers solutions, and it is one of those solutions which is being proposed by scientists, and the Delhi government is really keen to implement it. So we'll see how it works.
Okay, this is one of the many experiments, and you're talking about the 3 crore amount, huge amount. This is just for the trial that's going to be performed, which is about 5 sorties. Is that correct, Shrishti?
Yes. So this is an experiment, and as part of this particular experiment, this winter, we'll be, the entire project is about 3 crore, which has been led by IIT Kanpur, and so IIT Kanpur will be the nodal agency. And like you said, 5 sorties over a 100 square kilometer area in northwest Delhi, because there are a lot of security implications as well, and there have been strict instructions given out to all people there. You need permissions from several agencies till the end. Last hour, the agencies are involved in getting permissions. It's a very humongous exercise, and that is why the last moment IMD did not give permission, because of the weather conditions, which may turn unfavorable at any point in time.
Okay, so we do have a lot of follow-ups, and we'll turn to our guest, our expert joining us this morning to address some of those questions. Thank you, Shrishti, for joining us, really breaking down the entire story and telling us what we can expect the next few days in the national capital. And now going across to former IMD Chief Dr. KJ Ramesh, who joins us this morning. Good morning, sir.
Very good morning.
Dr. Ramesh, this sounds really fascinating. We've heard of cloud seeding before, but for anyone who's alien to the concept, who's still trying to figure out, how do I understand what this concept is really in simple ways? What is cloud seeding? How is it performed? And what are those things that people of the national capital must watch out for regarding this exercise?
Thank you very much. Cloud seeding per se, I have to clear that it cannot create clouds. This technology cannot create clouds. If some clouds are forming, in winter particularly, clouds form over northwest India and Delhi only when western disturbance comes over. Only under the influence of western disturbance you can expect cloud formation. When such a situation emerges, then with this cloud seeding, there are two techniques. If cloud is below 0 degrees level in the atmosphere, then they are called warm clouds. If the clouds are above 0 degrees, means minus temperatures height, then they are cold clouds. So seeding mechanism for warm clouds and cold clouds are different. So that aircraft will decide, ground-based radar will decide, continuous monitoring mechanism. There will be a team on the ground to say where the potential clouds are there. There you can do cloud seeding, dropping these condensation nuclei, cloud condensation nuclei we call, and they make more particles to form, more water particles to form in the cloud. It will accelerate the water droplet formation in the cloud, so thereby enhancing the water holding capacity of the cloud to grow bigger and bigger when the moisture inflow is there to that particular cloud. Moisture inflow also has to be there for the cloud. When you seed this material, if little moisture is there, whatever droplets are there, they will become smaller and smaller, and the cloud will dissipate also if you do the overseeding. So there has to be a ground-based guidance for it with professional team. That's what IIT Kanpur will do. So it is a conditioned experiment. There has to be some base cloud existing that has a potential to grow with the moisture influx potentially happening from the atmospheric conditions. But in winter, it is a stable atmosphere. You can expect this moisture inflow in a monsoon season, even when western disturbance is there. In winter particularly, it's a stable atmosphere. Atmosphere doesn't favor for the formation of the clouds only in those days when western disturbance is there. When western disturbance is there, some rain is going to come anyway.
Yeah.
We are going
Which is where we are today. That's why perhaps
Yeah.
this entire exercise has also been postponed because
Yes.
of the winter disturbances. Yeah.
Yes. So this is what I'm telling. There are so many ifs and buts for this experiment to carry out. In any case, even without this experiment also, some rain will form. When rain will form, whatever pollutants are there, PM 2.5 or other particles, PM 10, they get precipitated anyway. They get
So,
precipitated
Dr.
anyway.
Ramesh, you're saying that there are two scenarios. One is the scenario that we're in right now, which is also the scenario during peak monsoons, right? So it's going to be natural rain showers as is,
Yes.
in which case cloud seeding might not be the most effective because as is pollutants, air pollutants will go down.
Yes.
The air pollution problem is not at its peak. The other
Yes.
is peak winters, wherein due to lack of western disturbances, given the stagnation, it would be very difficult, you're saying, to carry out an exercise like this. So how do you make the
this
most
technology
of...
cannot create clouds, so you cannot use it in clear sky conditions.
So how do you make the most of it, let's say, post-Diwali, peak winters, when the smog problem is at its peak, when residents in the national capital are literally choking for clean air?
This is not a solution for it. This will only work when Diwali time, if you have a western disturbance coming to your rescue. That is not in our hands. As Srishti said, we have to find out stopping the other emissions during that time. Apart from local emissions from Punjab, Haryana, because wind flows from Punjab and Haryana side towards Delhi, East Rajasthan side towards Delhi. So their emissions, stubble burning is one. Power plants are there. We should shut down all those power plants, at least 20 to 30% inflow of pollutants apart from stubble burning can be minimized. During that time, if you close all the power plants in North Rajasthan, Punjab and Haryana and Western UP, then you will find at least that much contribution not reaching Delhi. Stubble burning, some steps are taken to reduce it. Along with that, power plants also should be, coal-based thermal power plants also should be shut down. And another biggest problem within Delhi is we have all these solid waste mountains all around Delhi. So that generates a lot of ammonia and secondary atmospheric reaction, ozone and other harmful substances are locally added because of this solid waste available there, and so much of other poisonous gases and emissions are coming. So that will add further. So that problem we cannot solve it, solid waste related problem. Only we can reduce traffic emissions and biomass burning within Delhi, and stopping those other activities, industries, small scale industries. All industries also will contribute incrementally one after the another. All industrial activity has to be stopped, and then regulate the traffic. Then only some local emissions are 50%. Outside Delhi emissions are 50% in Delhi. Broadly, if you talk about.
Yeah. So a wholesome approach is needed, and that's the conversation we have here in and out, Dr. Ramesh. How much more needs to be done, from stubble burning to, construction activities in the national capital, vehicular emissions? All of that needs a wholesome approach, collective effort by each and every resident of the national capital region and beyond, neighboring states as well. Dr. Ramesh, to just talk about cloud seeding a little bit. Too much hope should not be pinned on this, is what you're trying to imply, what you're trying to convey to our viewers who've tuned in. But Dr. Ramesh, given the science that you're explaining to us, would it not be wrong to then already predetermine that 100 square kilometers in northwest Delhi is going to be the target area? Because like you said, a certain cloud formation is needed for artificial rain and this entire trial to be performed. So the region could also shift and vary in a few days from now?
Yeah, that depends on the day of experiment. Wherever clouds are forming, which sector of NCR clouds are forming, that sector only you have to do. At the moment, they have zeroed in that area because model forecasts are suggesting for the possible cloud formation in that zone of NCR.
And Dr. Ramesh, tell us a little bit more about the technique, the equipment. Now we know this can be done in 2-3 ways. So you obviously have the aircraft which performs it. It positions itself very close to the cloud. That's one. But there are other techniques too. What do you think is going to happen here? Which technique is going to be employed? Which chemical components are we going to talk about? Tell us a little bit about the mechanism in place.
It is actually silver iodide is the commonly used material, and it will be burnt through combustion process. It will be ejected from the aircraft in that particular area where wind is likely to bring moisture influx into the clouds also moving with the wind. So in that inflow segment where injection is done. So there are past experiments conducted by IITM and several other agencies, state governments also have conducted. So we have some standard thumb rules. So if this much, first aircraft has to go and collect the sampling within the cloud environment. And then it comes back, transmits that information to the ground team, and then they will identify what would be the appropriate time of seeding the cloud. So then aircraft goes and does the seeding process. So it will happen, then they will be monitoring whether cloud is growing or not. If cloud is not growing as per the anticipation and guidance of the ground team, so they will again suggest that you fly again, do it again, some more may be needed. So it is a...
So there are not just too many ifs and buts. It's also a lengthy process. It's a very complicated, challenging process.
Very lengthy process. For example, when this experiment was done in 2008, monsoon season in government of Karnataka for increasing the rainfall, so it was done for 4 months here. So 4 months time, so when the rainfall comes out of the cloud, so if you take the rain sample, you will know that the seeded material sample will be there in the rainwater. So then you can know where the rainfall has increased in that particular area of where you find the material. So that's how you identify where that material sample is not there in the rainwater. So seeded rainwater is not there. Where the sample exists, seeded water is there. With that process, about 15 to 18% increase in the rainfall has been seen in that 2018 experiment by the Karnataka.
Okay, Dr. Ramesh, we have the last 30 seconds, but I do want to put out another question which is going to interest our viewers, which is, in an ideal scenario, if we're able to pull through this, let's say a day after Diwali, when, you know, an initiative like cloud seeding might actually make big difference. So for instance, the day after Diwali, we're at 600 AQI. A successful cloud seeding which triggers artificial rain, how much will it bring down the AQI to? So what are the levels we're going to in an ideal scenario?
Without seeding, during the Diwali, if you have cloud already there, western disturbance is there, from 600 it will come to 300.
Okay.
If cloud seeding is successful during that time, then it can come down to 100.
Okay, lovely. So from 600 to 100, if we just, let's say, go by cloud seeding and it's
Intervention is right.
Okay, the intervention is right. Lovely. Thank you so much, Dr. Ramesh. It was wonderful having you this morning. Explain the science behind it and what we can truly expect, not really pin our hopes too much on artificial rain this winter. With that, we shift our focus to the other questions that come to our mind, which was spoken of by Dr. Ramesh and Shrishti briefly too. The question that comes to our mind about what else is being done. Why is it that the air gets so unbreathable year in and out, and why are we turning to artificial rains? To break that down, Shrishti has this report for us to not just focus on what the way forward is in terms of artificial rain, but to also talk about the other areas that need more work and what really is that alarming level of air pollution that we're looking at this winter. Take a look.
Well, this is that time of the year again when the air pollution levels in the national capital region start surging. October, November, December. Now I'm talking about the deadly smog that envelops the entire city. As of now, the weather is quite fine, but this also signals the approaching winters when the temperatures start dropping. The monsoon has already withdrawn and the air pollution levels, especially PM 2.5 levels in the national capital, will start surging. Now, there are multiple reasons for it. The rising vehicular level of pollution, the industrial level pollution, as well as the stubble burning, which has started in the neighbouring states of Punjab and Haryana. Now, this time, a large amount of croplands have been devastated by the floods, but stubble burning remains a concern. Now, the Commission for Air Quality and Management in Delhi NCR has already held multiple meetings with different states and the stakeholders in the city to control this rising level of air pollution in the national capitals. So what is the strategy this time? And what are the health impacts? Now, we are here in IIT Delhi, where there's an important workshop being held where experts are discussing and highlighting that air pollution is no longer an environmental concern. It's a severe health concern and people need to take it accordingly. So let's take a look at what these experts have to say. Today we have with us Professor Sagnik De from Center for Atmospheric Sciences, IIT Delhi, to talk about these severe health impacts. Sir, how do you see these several studies pointing out towards the health impacts?
So, I mean, it is beyond doubt that exposure to air pollutions, both in short term and long term, has severe health impacts. And in fact, medical studies have shown that air pollution has impacted almost every organ in our body, and it starts actually from the stage of conception when the child is not even born till the person is in old age. And I think we have to take the air pollution very seriously and consider air pollution as a health crisis.
So what are the several studies which point out, like, what are the exact health impacts? We talk about the impact on children, women as well as the elderly, but what exactly the studies are pointing towards?
So the studies are saying, for example, that if a pregnant mother is exposed to high level of air pollutions, then it increases the risk of negative pregnancy outcomes like stillbirth, preterm birth, low birth weight. At a very early stage, there is a chance that the child's physical and mental development gets delayed. Childs can get affected from respiratory issues.
Residents of the National Capital Region continue to breathe toxic air all through the year, but it rises to insurmountable levels, especially during the winter months, October, November and December. And now we are towards that crucial period. Experts and scientists have been working on the health impacts, warning the policy makers about these health impacts. And today we have with us one such expert, Dr. Kalpana Balakrishnan. Ma'am, we have been talking about air pollution, health impacts for a very long time. How has the situation changed over the years now? Where are we now?
Yeah, I think we are at an inflection point wherein every single gap that we had wanted to address in the evidence pool for health effects of air pollution in India has been addressed in a major way. We may not have the quantity that is there available in the developed countries, but we have very high quality multi-city, multi-state, multi-village studies that sort of, have been very, very central for us to synthesize a very cohesive piece of narrative.
Well, the monsoon has already withdrawn from the national capital and it signals the approaching winters. Now, winters is a time when the air pollution across the national capital region starts surging. There are multiple reasons for it: vehicular pollution, industrial pollution, and the stubble burning happening in the neighboring states. So what is the strategy this time? Today, we have with us a technical member from CAQM to talk about what their plan is to control air pollution this time. Sir, what do you have to say about the strategy this time?
So I definitely agree that we are already into the air pollution season now with the winter approaching, and I think this is quite topical because in fact the Supreme Court has asked CAQM to prepare a preventive winter action plan, and in this context we have been in touch with Punjab, Haryana, of course Rajasthan and the Delhi government, and each one of them are submitting their winter action plans, which will be a preventable strategy to deal with the air pollution in this season.
Well, on that note, it's time for us to head into a very short breather. On the other side, on the Breakfast Club, we'll shift our focus to the conversation you have heard the last so many days about so many children dying to intake of cough syrup. But what's really the story there, and what more should you as parents do when your child is facing troubles wherein you feel the need to promptly go to a cough syrup? What not to do? We'll take you through that conversation in just a bit.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
निवेदन करता हूं कि जो हमारे BLOs सारी बिहार की डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स के हमारे बीच में हैं वो आएं।
So these are BLOs or the booth level officers who have been the key as far as the Election Commission's SIR exercise is concerned. It was a very short deadline that was given to the BLOs, and yet they've managed to deliver. I think they're all being acknowledged by the full commission. And now CEC is speaking. Let's listen in.
सबसे पहले बिहार की इस पावन धरती पर चुनाव आयोग की तरफ से आप सभी का स्वागत है। हाल ही में बिहार में मतदाता सूची के शुद्धिकरण का कार्य हुआ और जो हमारे समक्ष बूथ लेवल ऑफिसर्स मौजूद हैं, इन्होंने न केवल अपने बूथ में मतदाता सूची के शुद्धिकरण का कार्य किया, बल्कि इन लोगों के साथ साथ बिहार के 90,217 बूथ लेवल ऑफिसर्स ने एक ऐसा कार्य किया जो कि पूरे देश में अनुकरणीय है। मैं निवेदन करूंगा कि करतल ध्वनि के साथ हमारे इन योद्धाओं को प्रोत्साहन दिया जाए। आप लोगों का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, क्योंकि आप लोग न केवल अपने बूथ में मतदाताओं के साथ काम करते हुए आपने न केवल मतदाता सूची को शुद्ध किया है, बल्कि पूरे देश में जो बाकी बूथ लेवल ऑफिसर्स जब इस कार्य को करेंगे तो उनको आपसे बहुत बहुत प्रेरणा मिलेगी। जैसे कि विश्व को बिहार की वैशाली ने ही गणतंत्र का रास्ता दिखाया था, वैसे ही आप सभी लोग मिलकर अब देश को मतदाता सूची को शुद्ध करने के कार्य के लिए प्रेरणा का स्रोत बनेंगे। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
BLO से निवेदन है कि थोड़ा आगे आ जाएं फटाफट, और ताकि एक ग्रुप फोटोग्राफ हो जाए, फिर आप लोग जा सकते हैं। सर, मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कमीशन से कि काइंडली
खड़े हो जाए, देर लगे।
So like I was telling you, the booth level officers of the Election Commission who have played a very significant role in completion of the special intensive revision of Bihar voter list. They're all being acknowledged for their effort. The group photograph is underway. SIR in Bihar was a key test for the Election Commission. Opposition had moved the Supreme Court against this, and Election Commission had made it clear that after Bihar there will be a pan-India SIR exercise as well. So these BLOs were in a way central to Election Commission's plan for Bihar and for the rest of the country, and therefore Gyanesh Kumar, the Chief Election Commissioner, acknowledging their efforts and the way they have delivered within the short deadline, ensure that the documentation was followed, ensure that all eligible voters were added to the voter list, and those who are doubtful, who can still appeal to the senior Election Commission officials before election, but their names have been left out. CEC speaking once again. Let's listen.
कमिश्नर सर श्री ज्ञानेश कुमार जी से निवेदन करता हूं कि वो अपना वक्तव्य दें।
ऑनरेबल भारत के निर्वाचन आयुक्त डॉक्टर सुखबीर सिंह संधू जी, ऑनरेबल डॉक्टर विवेक जोशी, भारत के निर्वाचन आयुक्त, निर्वाचन आयोग के वरिष्ठ अधिकारियों की टीम, बिहार के चीफ इलेक्टोरल ऑफिसर श्री विनोद गुंजियाल जी और बिहार की इस पावन भूमि के हमारे मीडिया सहकर्मी, हम सबसे पहले भारत के सभी मतदाता के अभिनंदन करतानी आ विशेष गहन पुनरीक्षण अभियान SIR के सफलतापूर्वक संपन्न करावे खातिर रउआ सभे के कोटि कोटि आभार आ धन्यवाद जतावत बानी। भारत निर्वाचन आयोग की तरफ से बिहार के सब मतदाता सभक अभिवादन करैत छी। आपके माध्यम से मैं बिहार के सभी मतदाताओं से यह आह्वान करता हूं कि आइए, जिस तरह से हम अपने त्योहारों को
Welcome back, and this morning we're also looking closely at a story that has shaken parents across the country: the safety of cough syrups for children. 11 deaths in Madhya Pradesh so far, 3 in Rajasthan, a total of 18 across the country, all with kidney failure symptoms. Batches of cough syrup have been seized. States have rushed to pull stocks from circulation. Doctors say the concern is a toxic solvent, which is diethylene glycol, found in one tested batch. It's a chemical that can cause kidney failure, and young children are the most vulnerable. Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Telangana, Maharashtra, Himachal, these are the states that have either banned cold reef, halted production or launched inspections. Regulators have begun criminal proceedings against the manufacturer and ordered nationwide checks too. But the big question still remains, and that's what our focus this morning is going to be: how safe are cough syrups for young children in general? Why did a toxic solvent enter the medicine supply chain in this particular case? Are current checks strong enough? And until rules are tightened, what should parents and doctors actually do? And to answer all of those questions, we're going to be putting out these questions to our guest joining us this morning. Pediatrician Dr. Rajiv Ranjan is with us. Good morning, Dr. Rajiv.
Very good morning.
Dr. Rajiv, let's begin with the question that I just teased, which is, should parents give their children cough syrup at all? So forget what's happened across the country. These 18 deaths that have happened, rather unfortunate, shouldn't have. What went wrong, we'll talk about that in just a bit. But as a general rule, as a thumb rule, if you're a parent, should you go for a cough syrup?
Rightly said, and it is very, heartening to see that lot of deaths caused in Madhya Pradesh and some states. And from this platform, I would like to address all the parents not to prescribe any cough syrups directly without getting checked with a pediatrician, because below the age of 4 years, these cough syrups can be hazardous to your child. So we have a culture of giving cough syrup for any kind of cough. If child starts coughing, the very first thing parents do is to give the cough syrup either prescribed by the previous pediatrician or from a local store. And this is culture in our India that a lot of parents buy cough syrups from the pharmaceutical stores, and this shouldn't be allowed. And I can say that below 4 years, it is very, very, very harmful to all the kids for any kind of cough syrup without the consultation of the pediatrician.
Dr. Rajiv, tell us then, why can it be so very dangerous for young children, and what age bracket are we looking at? Are we looking at, as per the central government's directory, children younger than 2 years should not be given cough syrup no matter what? You were telling us a little bit about how it should be avoided for, let's say, anyone who's under 4 or 5 years of age. So tell us a little bit about that, give us more clarity on that, and tell us what makes it so dangerous. What can it do to a young child?
Yes, rightly said. In 2023, December, I think, Drug Control Government of India directed not to use cough syrup below 4 years of age and strictly below 2 years of age. And due to the consumption of these kind of cough syrups, child could be having lot of allergic reaction, nausea, pain in abdomen, and sometimes, like in this case, they are going to harm the vital organs as well. And first of all, because if parents are listening that child is having cough, but they can be having lot of underlying problems at that time, and they visit the clinic only when the child starts worsening. So all kind of cough syrups have got chemicals. You know that there are chemicals which dissolves the drug into the liquid form. So they are in the permitted, they are okay, but for the smaller kids, who are having their organs are still developing, for them these cough syrups are very hazardous.
Dr. Rajiv, you began by saying, and that was so interesting because it's also relatable. In our families, extended families, people we know, we've heard so many times, not just for young children, but also for adults, for instance. So once if a doctor had prescribed a certain cough syrup, the moment you're coughing next time, dry, wet, none of that considered, other factors not considered, you simply go for that bottle of cough syrup once again in order to just escape a doctor's visit. So that trend in itself is so dangerous. But Dr. Rajiv, tell us also now a little bit about what else should be done. So for any worrying parent, suddenly the child starts coughing late in the night while the child is asleep. We've seen that phenomena reoccur more prominently than daytime. So why does that happen, and what should a parent do immediately?
Rightly said, in pediatrics, you know that parents are very much worrisome once something starts in the midnight and they are not able to approach to their pediatrician. So we always, direct our parents that if you have something like that, you should go in a natural way. You know that above 1 year we can use honey, and honey with ginger is a very, that gives wonderful results and then soothes the respiratory tract. So we should use lukewarm water. We should go for the natural way to decrease that coughing. If it doesn't improve, then there are emergency pediatrician hospitals where you can seek the help of the pediatrician who is on the duty, who can better guide you.
Dr. Rajiv, what about nebulizing? Because slowly India is opening up to it. There is awareness around it. For instance, when we were young, we'd not seen nebulizers at our home. Possibly was introduced to our families when elderly in our house were in need of a nebulizer, for instance. So age-old people, older generation was in need, is when we got acquainted with the idea in the first place. Do you think that's changed? How much of a difference can nebulizing make in times like these?
Lovely question. I was waiting for this question. And for last 12 years in Noida, I'm practicing in Noida and I'm fighting to the parents, about using that nebulization. People are very afraid of this machine. Even child also gets very much, they start crying excessively. They are refusing to get nebulization. I think post-COVID it has changed. And after COVID, I think a lot of parents have understood the need of nebulization, and these have no side effects. So once you start nebulization, in the smaller kids we don't use any medicine in that, and rather we can go with the hyperneb, that is the normal saline water, and once you nebulize, the child gets relief, they can sleep instantly. So use of nebulization has increased. I think through your platform, I would like to address to all parents, kindly use natural way to treat cough. Don't go for cough syrup. And I think there is one big problem that on the very different digital platforms of the national channels also, cough syrups advertisement is freely going on. That should be stopped immediately.
And are the ways of treating dry cough different than wet coughs? Tell us a little bit about that. Parents watching this, what should they do in each of these cases, and when, more importantly, when should they reach out for the pediatrician in case the cough doesn't subside? So they've tried all of this, they've done nebulizing. At what point should they reach out for a doctor's help?
Very good question again. And there are two kinds of coughs generally happens. One is dry and one is wet. For dry cough, generally cough suppressants are used. And for the wet cough, bronchodilators, taking out the mucus, cough syrups are used. But there is a direction of the Drug Control of India. Below 4 years of age, you can't use cough suppression. That is dextromethorphan. And that was the, cough syrup was found there in Madhya Pradesh. That shouldn't be used to the smaller kids. While bronchodilators can be used with the guidance of pediatrician if there is wheezing in the chest or there is breathing issue in the chest of the child. So it depends upon what is the condition of the child, then only that cough syrup could be prescribed. Below 4 years, cough suppression should be avoided completely.
Dr. Rajiv, now we're seeing focus shift to enforcement, regulation, what more needs to be done, what should be done in the right way in order to not lose out on lives and young lives the way we have across the country, where do you think we're lacking overall as a country? What do you think went wrong here? And tell us most importantly about this dangerous solvent which has actually led to this kind of a kidney failure illness in children.
I think it is a combined, efforts should be needed from the parents also. They should have to change the mindset. The mindset is still the old one. Even the very educated, creamy layer of the parents, when the child is having some problem, they go back to the way back 70s, 60s formula of using the same things which are very much harmful to the child. So I think not only the pediatrician, not the health providers, government, efforts should come from the parents also. I think by far most, I always try to recommend natural way, and efforts are becoming less and less from the parents because of their heavy duty schedules, their lifestyle, and all these kind of junk foods. Everything has changed. So we are right now not only fighting the diseases, we are fighting the mindset of the parents also, because it's very hard from them to take out the time from their busy schedule to take care of the child. Because once you talk about the natural way, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of efforts to give the result. It is very slow. Once they start medications, they get the fast results. So these fast-paced methods are really not good for the child. So far that molecule is concerned, diethylene glycol, which was found in the percentage of 48.6%, which is very harmful. Generally, propylene glycol is used to dissolve that drugs in the liquid form, but that is really costly. I think this molecule which was used in Madhya Pradesh, that particular syrup, that was in the very high concentration. That is a chemical which we used in paints, plastics, liquid brakes, and that is very hazardous to especially kidney. So what it does, that it causes the edema at the lumen, blocking the urine outflow and causing the kidney failure. So this molecule was poisonous. This is a chemical. I think strict action should be taken. How it came in that brand, and that whole batch should be sealed, and whole investigation should be done. And I think that government should come up with a direction that none of the pediatrician can use, or any health doctor can use cough syrup below 2 years. And if cough syrup has to be given, it should be given by a pediatrician under strict rules.
Okay, does it also apply to adults? Let's not leave out the other majority of our viewers who are watching this, who are going to be concerned if that's the kind of that's the kind of consequence children are going to have to bear. What about us? So does the same rule apply to adults, or does that change? Tell us about cough syrup being used or being prescribed by doctors to grown-ups.
Of course, I think adults are having higher immunity, higher fighting power, higher absorption power than the children. But yes, it will be giving the effects. If we talk about any chemicals, it's truly going to give you something bad. And I think that we should go in the natural way. Try to avoid, like in the last 3 months in the NCR, it was heavily raining, and this humid condition was very conducive for viral infection. So this was giving hell of the night in the pediatric clinics. Lot of kids and adults also, they are having for prolonged. You might have seen that post-COVID, these curves are not going easily. It is taking more than 7 days, 10 days. Even adults are suffering. I think we should also boost our immunity. Go natural way, try to take a lot of antioxidant, vitamin C, and that will really help you. So natural way will take time, I agree on that, but it will be having very less side effects.
So don't lose out on patience. There's no quick fix to a healthy life, and you're going to have to go about it that way. Thank you so much, Dr. Rajiv, for breaking down that story, giving our parents some interesting tips on how they should go about treating cough and these kind of situations. Well, we head into a very quick break. With that, we're not done as yet. We have a very interesting segment lined up on India versus Pakistan and India thrashing Pak once again. More details in just a bit.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
निवेदन करता हूं कि जो हमारे BLOs सारी बिहार की डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स के हमारे बीच में हैं वो आएँ।
So these are BLOs or the booth level officers who have been the key as far as the Election Commission's SIR exercise is concerned. It was a very short deadline that was given to the BLOs, and yet they've managed to deliver. I think they're all being acknowledged by the full commission. And now CEC is speaking. Let's listen in.
सबसे पहले बिहार की इस पावन धरती पर चुनाव आयोग की तरफ से आप सभी का स्वागत है। हाल ही में बिहार में मतदाता सूची के शुद्धिकरण का कार्य हुआ और जो हमारे समक्ष बूथ लेवल ऑफिसर्स मौजूद हैं, इन्होंने न केवल अपने बूथ में मतदाता सूची के शुद्धिकरण का कार्य किया, बल्कि इन लोगों के साथ साथ बिहार के 90,217 बूथ लेवल ऑफिसर्स ने एक ऐसा कार्य किया जो कि पूरे देश में अनुकरणीय है। मैं निवेदन करूंगा कि करतल ध्वनि के साथ हमारे इन योद्धाओं को प्रोत्साहन दिया जाए। आप लोगों का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, क्योंकि आप लोग न केवल अपने बूथ में मतदाताओं के साथ काम करते हुए आपने न केवल मतदाता सूची को
So we have Cuttack. Violence erupted during Durga Puja idol immersion procession over music, leading to clashes between two groups. Odisha government suspends internet social media for 48 hours across. So we have Cuttack. Violence erupted during Durga Puja idol immersion procession over music, leading to clashes between two groups. Odisha government. So we have Cuttack. Violence erupted during Durga Puja idol immersion procession over music, leading to clashes between two groups. Odisha government suspends internet social media for 48 hours across Cuttack. 36-hour curfew imposed in 13 areas. Police urge public to stay indoors. Strict action promised against violators. Let's listen to some reactions first.
मैं आपके द्वारा कटक के जनसभा
Okay, welcome back. India extended their perfect ODI record against Pakistan with an 88-run victory in Colombo. Harleen Deol and Richa Ghosh performed exceptionally well with the bat, and Kranti Gaur starred with the ball. India sealed their 12th consecutive ODI victory over arch rivals Pakistan. We get you more details. Leave you with this ground report. Thanks for watching The Breakfast Club. We'll see you tomorrow at 8.
The Indian women's team extended their unbeaten record against Pakistan in ODIs with a commanding 88-run victory in the ICC Women's ODI World Cup in Colombo. The win on Sunday night stretched India's head-to-head tally to 12-0 in one-day internationals and 5-0 in World Cup clashes. India's pacers set the tone early, rattling Pakistan's chase of 248. Renuka Singh and Kranti Gaur swung and seamed the new ball both ways, leaving the openers struggling. Renuka was exceptional, sending down 8 overs on the trot and keeping Pakistan under constant pressure from the outset. Pakistan's resistance eventually hinged on Sidra Amin, who carried her form from the South Africa series. She was the only batter to cross 50, compiling a fluent 81 with regular boundaries and stitching a fighting stand with Natalia Pervez. However, once their partnership was broken, the chase unraveled. Sneha Rana provided the breakthrough in the 48th over, removing Amin on 81 and tilting the game decisively in India's favour. Kranti and Deepi Sharma tightened the screws, sharing 6 wickets among each other as Pakistan folded for 159 in 43 overs. It was India's second straight victory in the tournament, while Pakistan slumped to back-to-back defeats. Earlier, India's innings revolved around Harleen Deol's composed 46 and Richa Ghosh's sparkling 20-ball cameo of 35. Put into bat, India's top order faltered on a sluggish pitch, but crucial middle-order partnerships steadied the innings. Despite disciplined bowling from Diana Baig and Fatima Sana, who shared 6 wickets, India found a late surge thanks to Ghosh's clean striking that propelled them to 247. While the match mostly followed expected lines, it wasn't short on drama. India continued their no handshake policy at the toss and post-match, extending the stance adopted during the Men's Asia Cup in the UAE. The toss itself had a moment of confusion, while the game also featured a bizarre run out and a 15-minute delay caused by insects invading the field. India's fielding, however, left plenty to be desired. Richa Ghosh dropped multiple chances and missed LBW reviews went against them. Yet, these lapses hardly dented India's dominance, as they once again proved far too strong for their arch rivals, sealing another emphatic win.
So we have Cuttack. Violence erupted during Durga Puja idol immersion procession over music, leading to clashes between two groups. Odisha government suspends internet social media for 48 hours across Cuttack. 36-hour curfew imposed in 13 areas. Police urge public to stay indoors. Strict action promised against violators. Let's listen to some reactions first.
मैं आपके द्वारा कटक के जनसाधारण से ये भी अनुरोध करूंगा कि कोई गुजब, कोई र्यूमर किसी भी सोशल मीडिया में वो देखें, उसके ऊपर विश्वास ना करें। अगर वो फैक्चुअल पोजीशन कोई जानना चाहते हैं, कहीं पर उनके मन में कोई शंका है, तो पुलिस की वेबसाइट, कमिश्नरेट की वेबसाइट, ट्विटर हैंडल, उसके ऊपर वो नज़र लगाएं और वहां पर उसका उन्हें तथ्य उपलब्ध होगा। मैं आपके द्वारा सभी को फिर से इस बात को कहना चाहूँगा, किसी भी तरह का असामाजिक तत्व को, कोई भी वायलेंस जो है वो हम स्वीकार नहीं करेंगे और आइन में जो क्षमता दिया गया है पुलिस उसका पूरा उपयोग करेगी।
कटक एक शांतिपूर्ण सिटी के रूप में जाना जाता था, लेकिन जिस तरह से वहाँ पर कुछ पॉकेट्स हैं जहाँ पर कि इस्लामिक जिहादियों की गतिविधियाँ तेज गति के साथ बढ़ी हैं और कई जगह पर रोहिंग्याओं के पॉकेट्स भी बन गए हैं, ऐसी भी जानकारी हमारे पास आ रही है। और जिस तरह से शनिवार की रात्रि को दुर्गा पूजा के विसर्जन के लिए जो लोग जा रहे थे, तो उस समय वहाँ पर अचानक पत्थरबाजी होना और तमाम तरह के हथियार लेकर के और हमले करना, ये इस बात को दर्शाता है कि किस तरह से वहाँ के जो माहौल को, जो शांतिपूर्ण स्थिति के लिए जाना जाता है कटक, उसको अशांत बनाने के षड्यंत्र रचे जा रहे हैं।
So we have CNN News 18's Navesh Mohanty live with us right now. Navesh, क्या आप हमें बता सकते हैं ये जो डिमांड डीसीपी एंड कलेक्टर को ट्रांसफर करने का आफ्टर द इमर्जन वायलेंस, ये जस्टिफाइड है क्या? देखिए,
जस्टिफाइड है या नहीं ये तो सरकार ही तय करेगी, मगर डीसीपी को हमने लड़ते हुए देखा। हजार भीड़ के अंदर उन्होंने अकेले ही लड़ा और उनको भारी चोट भी पहुंची है। पहले से ही जब ये विसर्जन के दिन जो पहली बार जब झड़प हुई थी तब उनको चोट लगी थी और कल भी भारी मात्रा में चोट उनको लगी है। बाकी रहा डीएम का या कलेक्टर की बात, कलेक्टर के साथ हमारा बातचीत हो रहा था। वो ये झमेला खत्म होने के बाद स्पॉट पे आके पहुंचे, वो भी बहुत चिंतित थे, मगर 2000 लोगों को जो लोगों का जो क्राउड था उनको कंट्रोल करने के लिए जो जिस तरह की पुलिस की बंदोबस्त होनी चाहिए उस तरह की बंदोबस्त नहीं थी। वो क्यों नहीं थी? पुलिस के पास इंटेल नहीं था या फिर पुलिस कुछ कार्रवाई करने से पहले सोच रही थी, या फिर किसी का क्या सोच रही है पता नहीं चल पा रहा है। अगर पुलिस थोड़ा भी एक्टिव होती, थोड़ा पुलिस का इंटेल काम करता तो शायद आज ये हाल नहीं होता। आज कुछ दूसरा तरह का स्थिति यहाँ होती। मगर अभी अगर बात करें तो अभी जो स्थिति है पहले से थोड़ा बेहतर है। सुबह से तो बारिश हो रही है, कर्फ्यू लगा हुआ है और इंटरनेट की सर्विस भी बंद है। अपील भी मुख्यमंत्री की तरफ से हुई है कि शांति बजाय रखें और डीजीपी की बात भी आपने अभी सुना। डीजीपी ने यह स्पष्ट किया है जिस तरह के र्यूमर्स अभी सोशल मीडिया में आ रहे हैं और आने वाले आगे कुछ दिनों में, उन पे यकीन ना करें। जो मेन स्ट्रीम मीडिया है उसी पे ही लोग यकीन करें और जो भी कुछ बातें अगर कोई किसी के पास है, कोई सूचना है, कोई इंफॉर्मेशन है, अगर पुलिस को देना चाहता है तो वो दे सकता है सीधा थाने आकर या फिर फोन करके। कोई जिस तरह से मिस इन्फॉर्मेशन इस दौरान स्प्रेड ना हो उसके ऊपर निगरानी रखें।
Good morning and a warm welcome. You're watching CNN News 18 with me, Griha Atul. Over the next 60 minutes, I'll be bringing you all the top stories dominating headlines. So let's begin with them. Cuttack remains under a 36-hour curfew across 13 areas following violent clashes during Durga Puja idol immersion. In fact, internet remains banned for 24 hours. Cough syrup linked deaths rise to 18. Rajasthan, MP, Tamil Nadu, Kerala ban cold drift. Centre holds emergency meet. Issues fresh health guidelines to states and union territories as multi-state crackdown continues. Let's